yourself lost, you cannot do. Give yourself lost, you cannot fail. Try it forever, you cannot do. Give yourself lost and try it forever. Try it forever and do it again. Self lost, you can feel it. Give yourself lost, you can do it. Give yourself lost and try it forever. Night, you are so big. Night, you are so sick. Night, you are everywhere. Night, you are so black. Give yourself lost and do it again. Give yourself lost, you cannot do. Give yourself lost and try it forever. Try it forever, you can do. Give yourself lost, you cannot feel it. Feel it again and do it again. Night, you are so big. Night, you are so sick. Night, you are everywhere. Night, you are so black. Give yourself a last and do it again. Give yourself a last, you cannot do. Give yourself a last and try it forever. Give yourself a last, you cannot feel. Give yourself a last and do it again. Do it again, you cannot do. Night, you are so big. Night, you are so sick. Night, you are everywhere. Night, you are so black. Give yourself a lost and do it again. Give yourself a lost, you cannot do. Give yourself a lost and try forever. Try forever, you cannot do. Give yourself a last and try it again. Try it again, you cannot do.
A psychotic strangler possesses many disguises, a deadly fetish, and an unusual friend.
Detective Squad, Brummel.
Oh, Morris, I have been a bad boy again.
I want radio, television, and press announcements warning people to keep their doors locked.
Rod Steiger stars in No Way to Treat a Lady, Thursday at 8 on Channel 17.
The moving picture. Anyway, welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum double feature, and we hope you enjoyed our second movie of the evening, Andy Milligan's Blood. You may have noticed that there's only one camera here. Sam unfortunately had to bail because apparently Cubby had an emergency episode and needed to be rushed to the ER vet. So we hope everything's going to be okay with him. And I really just came back on just to wrap up the show for the evening. Andy Milligan's Blood is just sort of one of those movies that I saw it early in my Milligan experience. And Andy Milligan, like when you're getting into, at least it was for me, when you're getting into movies, you're starting to watch stuff like, you finally know who Dario Argento is, and then you start going through like, Fulci, Andy Milligan. Unless you were there when the movies were new, he's like way down the list of people. At least he was. Now, of course, many people talk about Andy Milligan. At least I get that perception anyway. But I think this is one of his best, actually, because it's short. It doesn't ask too much of you, even though I would have loved to have seen that rumored cut of the film that included vampire bats in the plot. Like, it was the vampire bats were infected by some kind of rabies or something, and they would attack the villagers, and even though they wouldn't kill them, some sort of disease broke out in the village. I don't know. Somebody could have just made it up. It was just IMDb, the Wild West, in the trivia section. So who knows? But I would love to have seen a cut of that. And I would not put it past Andy Milligan. Let's just leave it at that. Also, Hope Stansbury, she wrote a lot of things for Andy Milligan. And she's, of course, is the daughter of Dracula in this, the unfortunate mate of Lawrence Talbot, the son of the werewolf, the Wolfman. It's all very complicated, and somehow that old lady in the cemetery knew. And I say old lady with air quotes because she was just an average looking woman with like makeup around her eyes and her mouth to make her look old. At least I think that's what they were going for there. Maybe she was supposed to be a ghoul, and then she became vampire food. So anyway, she exited pretty quickly. And why do they always resort to blackmail? You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't go into a monster's house and make blackmail threats to somebody that is a werewolf already, and he's married to this woman. Could something similar be wrong with her? I mean, why would you confront her that way? Anyway, it was, of course, a very bad idea. And she was actually she was out of control. The minute she got to Staten Island, she started murdering people, including like the poor brother that came and was attacked suddenly with a meat cleaver. That's one of my favorite parts of this movie, actually. So yeah, I think also the sets are pretty amazing in Andy Milligan's films, because again, they're kind of, on the one hand, they're like high school play productions, but on the other hand, he does manage to pull off some of the shots. Especially, like, I love this shot in this movie where he dares to show the outside of the house, and there's this stone wall, and you kind of get the impression that, like, okay, this isn't something that would have been built when this movie was supposed to have been. It would look different if it had been built back then. But yeah, it still kind of works. I like thinking of the ways that he found to actually maybe make this stuff pass, like the way to frame the shot to avoid to get the least amount of visual information that indicates it's actually taking place in the 70s. I can't say a bad thing about the spirit in which this movie was made, even though technically it's obviously not up to par with other things. Things that, actually had budgets and had studio promotion behind them. There've certainly been a lot worse movies than Blood. The Awakening, starring Charlton Heston, comes to mind. That was a big budget movie, and it had a lot behind it. It was just boring. Plus, it was a remake of a pretty good movie, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. But I digress. So thanks to everybody who came back after. We got 11 people hanging out in the chat. Not too bad. You know, we didn't run as late tonight as we would have anyway, because these movies are short and I kind of wanted to get through it earlier this evening than we have been, because the last time I think it was 4 in the morning before we signed off, and I was like, I'm starting to feel my 55th birthday. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So I've got some stuff to show you too. I'm going to get rid of this jazz here because the show ain't going to be that long. This is really interesting. Look at this. I've been featuring these ads from Kingsport, Tennessee, and especially the Marlboro Drive-In, which had a lot of fabulous lineups there, especially like in the late 70s, early 80s. But look closely at this. That obviously is the 5th floor, but they reversed the words, and it's now the floor 5th. Figure that one out. I mean, I know a lot of people that if they found a 5th on the floor, they would probably drink it. But the floor 5th it's a very strange, and they had to have deliberately done it because they put the in the correct place, unless they just pasted the whole thing up and made a mistake. The original Beyond the Door, not to be confused with Beyond the Door 2, which was probably already out when this Dusk to Dawn happened. I'm not sure about the year, but I think it's 1980. Screams of a Winter Night, which is an amazing anthology film, ultra low budget, sort of obscure up until recently. I think maybe like 10 years ago was the first time I remember anybody putting it out. And The Dark, of course, a Bill and Sam favorite. The Kolchak episode without Kolchak. One of several. There was another movie that was like that we just watched on here not too long ago. Halloween Horrors. This ad mat is just amazing because I know a lot of you are going to recognize those two ghouls that appear in the border of this ad, and those were part of this ad that a lot of us saw in comic books for the Johnson Novelty Company horror record. You would right away, and I have one. I don't have it from back in the day. I bought it much later, but it's a 7-inch record, no picture cover, nothing. They just sent it to you in a plain white sleeve, and it had these ghouls advertising it in comic books. Here is the same thing used to advertise movies, particularly Dead and Buried and Beyond Evil, played together on this Halloween. Again, well, this must have been 1982, October 1982. It's a couple years old for Beyond Evil, but Dead and Buried wasn't that old. Some places it didn't even play until 1982, even though it opened in 81. And the Marlboro Drive-In. I mean, smoking had to have been encouraged there. I know it's not Marlboro, but it kind of sounds like what you're saying. Got any Marlboros? No, we only smoke Cools. This was not at a drive-in, but they used the same, and these appeared side by side in the same newspaper, which was jarring, to say the least. Texas Chainsaw, indoors. This was a hardtop in Kingsport, and 1982. Yeah, well, Texas Chainsaw never really went away. They made a big deal in 1984 for the 10th year anniversary, but really it had been playing nonstop. The Night After. There's the ghouls again. Those same two devils in a much more elaborate. That house was on the horror record too. But this lineup is amazing. Halloween, Hospital Massacre, aka X-Ray, The Boogeyman, amazing. And Zombie, it had to be Zombie, because the Boogeyman and Zombie often play together, thanks to Jerry Gross, who by the time this was run, I think this was in 1984 or even later, And Jerry Gross, I think, was already out of business by then. So, what else? Oh, I added this to the gallery too because somebody asked me on the page what a Jinx show was, and I don't know. Like it's just like a horror movie festival that they had whenever it was Friday the 13th, and there were ad mats like this. This was a popular one, but they were calling it a Jinx show long before they started getting this elaborate with it. So it just must be a regional thing. I never would have thought of the Jinx show until I started looking up these ads. I had never heard it. And of course, I had to include the one right next to it, the Spook Spree Jamboree with Bannon blood. Just a little typo there. The thing with two heads and blood from the mummy's tomb, the good version of the awakening. See, kids, there it is. What else do we got here? This one is pretty amazing. Deep Red, From Beyond the Grave, and The Devil's Nightmare. The Devil's Nightmare being one of the most widely screened movies of the 70s, because ever since I think it first appeared in 73, it played as The Devil's Nightmare, like that was its first release. And then somebody picked it up again and put it out within The Devil's Garden and made it out like it was an exorcism film. So, and From Beyond the Grave lived two lives as well. It was also Creatures from Beyond the Grave. And then it was shortened just to Creatures, The Creatures. Oh, and hi, Marilyn Chambers. Bless you. The ads were so sleazy looking back then, too. And this was in the newspaper. Like, kids could pick up this shit and see it. But there was all kind of lurid detail in these ads. It's almost like you should have had to have, bought this in a plain brown wrapper. I don't know. That's the way we looked at it anyway when we were kids, because I guess the stuff that was printed there, it really was nothing you wouldn't see in a clothing catalog. But to us, it looked really, really dirty. And of course, Marilyn Chambers, just absolute genius. One of the highest paid performers in adult films. She had a really good deal for her appearances. Okay, so where else are we? Oh, I guess that's it. Oh no, we got more. This is pretty amazing. Two killer child movies, one right after the other. The Children and The Orphan, which was also known as The Orphan Friday the 13th. Maybe it's the other way around. Anyway. And you all know how much I love Mansion of the Doomed, my favorite eyeless film featuring Lance Henriksen. And Gloria Graham in one of my favorite roles for her, which was basically just a really, really bitter assistant that ended up throttled by eyeless people as when she carelessly backed against the electrified bars and ended up half throttled, half electrocuted. And The Deadly Angels. I'm not even sure what that is. I remember looking it up once, I think when I pulled this ad, but I don't remember what movie The Deadly Angel's in. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me. So let's see. I'm sorry, I can't really read the chat very well because it's the third segment. Let's see. I miss the old movie timetables. Yes. Any kind of, like, it just seems completely crazy now that this was the way you planned your movie going experience. You just looked in the newspaper and there it was. But, like I said, they tended to get a little lurid. They could advertise XXX films in my newspaper, Dave Burien. Even my little regional newspaper from my area, the Valley News Dispatch, they advertised XXX. It was a big deal, too. I remember kids used to bring the dirty ads clipped out of the newspaper. They'd bring them to school and get in trouble. It was a different time. Oh, and here's a high-class evening at the Marlboro. Just in case you thought all they showed was drive-in trash, you were wrong. They could get serious with these important films, The Shining and The Exorcist. It's a really long night at the movies. The Shining is like 2.5 hours, and The Exorcist is just over 2 hours. So no need for a third or fourth feature for this lineup. Let's see if there's any more in this gallery. Oh, we're right back to where we started. Well, since I had this lined up for you, I am going to do this commercial break anyway, because I went through the trouble to put it together. So I'm not willing to let it go. God damn it. Let's see. Here we go.
Help, Miss Morrow. I'll trade you half a prune Danish for an honest opinion. Is it the dress or is it my figure?
Honestly, it's your bra.
My bra?
Try this Playtex Cross Your Heart bra. But in the dressing room, please. Cross Your Heart crosses over, lifts and separates to help you cross over to a better figure.
Wow.
Of course. I improve your figure and you ruin mine. You try a Playtex Cross Your Heart bra and cross over to a better figure.
It's tough to breathe if you're just a head in a paper bag. It's hard to creep without a body. And look what's happening to her as she walks up the staircase. See the little metal man with his great big knife. The doctor makes his last house call. House of Crazy. See what the author of Psycho has written now.
Linda knows that something is out there. Something so evil it penetrates the soul. Something lurking in the black of night, so real she can almost taste it. Something is out there, and it's coming closer and closer, and something is out there. So terrifying you've only seen it in your nightmares. Rated PG.
Beyond the door, too, where evil gives life to the dead and lust for the living. Its hunger can never be killed, only satisfied for now. Step through, if you dare, Mama! And be completely possessed by terror. The all-new Beyond the Door 2, rated R.
Who is it? Who's there?
I'd like to order an 8-cut, please.
An 8-cut? You want to order a pizza from Elena Marcus? What are you going to get on it, huh?
Pepperoni and extra cheese.
How about a nice Greek pizza? Or a white pizza?
No, traditional, please.
How you going to pay for it, huh?
Cash at the door like last time.
Ha! Now an 8-cut pizza with pepperoni and extra cheese is coming for you. It's gonna be 50 marks. You're gonna meet a man soon. A delivery man.
Thanks,
Girls, we got an order. An 8-cut with extra cheese and pepperoni. Have Mark deliver it to that bitch of an American girl. She's over at Olga's.
Okay, Father Marcos.
For a hell of a good pie, why don't you try Marcus Pizza, huh? Use promo code American Girl and get 10 marks off your next order. But hurry, hunger's behind that door.
They do have a hell and a good pie at Marco's Pizza, I have to admit. Anyway, it's funny because somebody brought that up earlier. What are you going to do, huh? I think Sam said that, so coincidence? I think not. Anyway, there were a couple more ads that I dug up that I had to show you. This screening of The Blood Orgy of the She-Devils and Terror House. 2 amazing pieces of film together at the Pan Am Twin Drive-In. I love when the image is a little damaged. Not everything's safe, kids. Psychopath and Terror House, and of course, Psychopath being the Mr. Rabby version that was also known as An Eye for an Eye. That's this Psychopath. Oh, thanks for the love for the Suspiria ad. That's really old. I forget there's a lot of people that watch the show now that didn't when it first started, so I'm recycling. Sorry. It's kind of lame, but I know. And last but not least, Mad Max and the Ghoulies. Which I think Ghoulies is the one of them has Liv from SVU in it. I think she's in the Ghoulies, or maybe she's in Spookies. Can't remember. And the piece de resistance. This one, I think I've shown this on the program before, but as I mentioned, recycling the Midnight Caller, which Mike Justice knows very well that this is The Demon, a South African Halloween riff from 1979, reissued in the States in the mid-'80s, along with Pieces in House on Sorority Row. Just an absolute beautiful night out at the movies. And the fact that The Demon was released in the United States at all is kind of amazing. That was one of those movies I discovered on budget DVD. I guess it was public domain, but I cannot find any record of The Demon playing U.S. theaters. And it was a little confusing, too, because the movie God Told Me To was also reissued as The Demon and then just Demon. I don't know which of those demons might be our razor-gloved killer from The Demon. But, yeah. The topsy-turvy world of film marketing. All right. So I'm really bummed out about Cubby. I hope he's okay. And we wish the very best for our canine DIA family. We really do. So we hope everything's going to turn out all right. In the meantime, thanks to everybody for coming and hanging out and watching movies with us. We're not going to be on next weekend. Oh, yeah, I didn't talk about next show. It's going to be No Way to Treat a Lady. That's our A feature. And our B feature is going to be I Know Who Killed Me, starring Lindsay Lohan. And I haven't seen that movie, but I hear it is a giallo, a bona fide giallo. So we'll see. These were both selected by Becca Panico in honor of her birthday. So we'll be looking forward to doing that one. And I'm going to have to announce the date on that one later because I'm not really sure when we're going to be able to do that show. But you know me, I can't stop posting on the page. I'm really glad that all of you follow and, most of you go and click like on the posts. And I really appreciate that because that's what keeps it going, literally. If nobody interacts with the post, then nobody sees the post, and then it just sort of dies on the vine, as they say. So thanks for helping keep it alive. I know that I speak for Sam when I say that this is the highlight of our week, coming and hanging out with you guys. And when we can't do the show, we really miss it. So hopefully we'll see some of you at the drive-in soon, like live in the flesh. I'm already going fetal about it because I'm used to being cooped up in the house and not having to see people in real life. But like now I have to see all of you in person, but I am looking forward to it. I know Sam is too, and we're going to have a good time. There's going to be 2 nights, 8 stunning films, just a blast. We look forward to it. We do it twice a year here. I know that the Mahoning does it a lot more frequently, and we wish we could get something like that going here too. But for now, this is what we have. We really cherish it. So hope to see all of you there. Right. Well, I hope to see all of you on the next show. I know not all of you are going to be at the drive-in. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching our 2 features, Confessions of a Psycho Cat and Blood. We hope you enjoyed both of them. The DIA. See you next time.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.